Hello everybody, Brian here, and guess what? Video episodes are back, baby. That's right. Despite my best efforts, Leighton has been recovering from her foot injury and is able to sit upright in front of a camera again. So we can finally come back to doing some video. We have a great episode this week with Geoff and Jason from the awesome 108.9 The Hawk podcast. Please go check them out if you haven't listened to their stuff before. It's a fake classic rock radio station, and it's really, really funny. And we're all on video this week. So go to patreon.com/Leighton Night to support us over there. Sign up at any tier to get access to the video episodes, and not just this one, but like ones for the past 4 years. And thank you for supporting the show. Enjoy. So we did have some A+ material about personal injuries as we were chatting before
Top
the
of
show.
line.
Yeah, I'm really getting into it right now.
I'm going to school to become a personal injury attorney. That's what that's about.
Have you been hurt on a roof?
Or by listening to this podcast.
Were you listening to a podcast talking about a roof fall? I'll help you.
You're probably entitled to compensation. If you've sat through enough of this show, then yeah.
We're 4 years in now. Certainly the Patreon subscribers are entitled to something back for everything they've given to us over the years.
Class action against Leighton Night.
I would love a class action against Patreons where people are like, not enough content. Not what I agreed to.
Yeah, it's not what I signed
I want
up
my
for.
$3 back.
We haven't had that, thankfully.
No.
Ours have just been like, the people that have bailed on our Patreon, it's just been like, times are tough.
Yeah.
You don't talk about sticks enough.
Yeah.
We did a thing on ours where it's 3 tiers, and we realized we were kind of neglecting the top tier. And about, was this maybe a year and 2 years ago, something like that? We were like, here's what we're going to do with the top tier. We're just going to tell everybody they don't get extra shit. And it's just because they like us more.
Yeah, support.
And, yeah. And it was one of the best decisions I think I've ever made.
I think it's valid. I have to work hard to fight Jason from putting up like 20 episodes Patreon only a week.
Because I feel guilty. I feel like, also, let's just say, I come from the best show Patreon. Right.
Sure.
Where we're like putting up 400 fucking shows a week.
You guys are amazing with the amount of stuff you put out there. Yeah, it's wild.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm only
there's
part
a little bit more money involved.
There's a lot more money involved than the Hawk and the Best Show Patreons. It's completely different. But I don't know. I just feel guilty when people are paying for our show. I'm like, I should give them a little bit more. And
you are also a man of a million ideas who also can justify any million ideas. Like, it doesn't take that long. Yeah. Anytime Jason says it doesn't take that long means like it's going to take 2 hours easy of his life that he
I'm also
could
ADHD. I'm going to put that out there from the start. I'm ADHD. So I'm like, this is a great idea. We'll do this. And just like, please calm down.
I often remind him to take his medicine before we start recording.
Please.
Yes, for the love of God.
The Patreon thing is so interesting to me because it seems like to sign up for Patreon is such a cell phone in so many ways as a creator, because it's nice to see the support directly, but you're immediately making a promise that you know is going to be hard to keep. In some sense, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a great model. We don't have ads on this. This is just Patreon supported.
Oh, no one wants to put ads on the Hawk because there's so many ads on the Hawk already that are fake. They're mixed in with,
that is that's a good point.
Mike in the mechanic's garage.
But every day I wake up and I feel guilty that I'm not doing more for this Patreon.
But then on the other end, I often wonder, with past podcasts, what percentage is the Patreon part of what broke me from stopping to do either the Canon or What's That From?
Yeah.
Because when you're like in your idea, you're like, an episode a week early. But for Jason, that means he's constantly editing 2 episodes, if not more.
No, but what that also means too is we make sure that we have a gigantic pad. We have a huge pad. Like, if you record an episode with us, chances are good it's not coming out for a month, 5 weeks, because we like to push things out. Yeah. And and that helps our process a little bit more. We've just started putting up video episodes for the highest tier. So you also get that when it comes out. And some of those eventually do make their way over to YouTube, because I don't know if you guys know this, podcasting is TV shows now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We've all agreed to fund and produce our own television shows.
Every week. Yes.
Every week. And look at least vaguely put together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to shower before a podcast recording now. You can't just go in there.
We decided for almost the entire life of this show, we started doing no video and then fairly quickly started doing the videos. And I was editing the videos, which is a thing I have absolutely no skill at. I mean, arguably I should be way better at it than I am, because I've been doing it for 3+ years, but I still don't know what I'm doing. So just in the last 3-4 months, maybe even a little more, we started working with a guy who now does all our video stuff, and it got immediately vastly better.
Oh, that's good.
I was like, oh my
Thank
God, why
you,
didn't we do
Rich.
this sooner? Thank you, Rich. Yes, we should say his name. It's Rich.
You're doing God's work, Rich.
Rich, we love you, baby.
We love you, baby. We do. It's a little different for the Hawk. So I meticulously edit the audio. I go in and make sure like a lot of the ums are out, that it flows really quick.
Right.
For the video, I don't go in and do that so much, except for, I do a character named Art Spart, who is our traffic guy, who rarely talks about traffic. He talks more about the weird shit happening in the city that is then impacting traffic. And Geoff typically writes all of those, and I don't see the copy until I read it live.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Usually I'll break and have to start something over. Like, I can't believe he wrote something like this. And then I have a joke will get me and I have to do it. So then I'll go in and fix that in the video. But for the most part, if you're watching a Hawk video, you're seeing it just as it happens, which in its own way is fast already. But it's cool just to see, like, because we are acting, we are doing the characters on camera, even when it was just an audio version. So it's kind of cool to see.
Well, I think we should. Let's introduce the show here, and I want to give listeners some context for what you're talking about in case they're not familiar with the Hawk.
Oh, they know.
So
everybody knows the Hawk.
Everybody. Let's just lay down. Let's plant a flag here. If you don't know what the Hawk is already, go fuck yourself. You're done. Stop listening to this episode. You're not going to learn anything new.
You got our copy from our press release.
That's where we go. Our press man
has been in touch. We gave them our email list. This is Late Night with Brian Wecht. My name is Brian Wecht, and across from me we have Leighton Gray. Say hi, Leighton Gray.
It's me, Leighton. That was Brian Wecht. He already said that, but I'm saying it again. Mystery guests, who are you?
You go. Hey, you can go. Jason. Okay, hi, I'm Jason Gore.
Hi, I'm Geoff Garlock.
Return guest, Geoff Garlock, of course.
That is true.
It's been a while.
I think it was episode 97, you guys.
Came out with Nate Smith, who I saw yesterday.
Oh, nice. Well, please say hi to him.
I will.
And what do you two do together?
We do a what we call the world's greatest podcast about a fictional classic rock radio station. And it is 108.9 The Hawk with Jason Gore and Geoff Garlock. It's 90% improvised, so we have guests that come on, and we act like Geoff acts as himself. I act as myself, but
I am a heightened version of myself.
You are a heightened version of yourself.
You're a less heightened version of yourself when you're yourself.
When I'm myself on the show, when I'm Jason Gore, I'm a very less heightened version, but I mainly play a character named Wisp Turlington, who is a 76-year-old veteran radio DJ, kind of a mix of Imus and Stern, or somewhere in there. And he knows everybody. He's been part of everything in pop culture. And they host a morning show together called the Geoff and Wisp Show. And it's all about this classic rock radio station that's been failing forever. And the city that we live in called Valverde, which has all these weird characters. The mayor is David Lee Roth.
Currently,
the mayor
was
is
a
David
mutant,
Lee Roth.
Sent a mutant hawk.
Yes, half mutant, half hawk.
Krog,
animal.
at
Krog,
one point.
Was the mayor for a while.
And then Krog became Ma Sharney at one point.
Ma Sharney is like the pope of our... Have you guys ever eaten at a Shoney's?
Like a Star Wars character.
It does kind of.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I have never eaten at a Shoney's. No.
I've repeatedly driven past Shoney's.
Well,
there you go.
Sharney's is our Shoney's.
Yes.
But the difference is it has 97 buffets in every location. And
no one eats for free.
No one eats for free. That's their slogan. But it's a comedy podcast, and we've had a lot of different guests. Like guests come on and they act as either themselves or somebody from Valverde or somebody in the rock and roll world. And we've had, John Hodgman, Tom Sharpling, Paul Scheer, Julie Klausner.
You had our friend Flula on.
Yeah,
Flula
was amazing.
Played himself, was amazing. He was so good. He's insane.
He is truly nuts in the best way.
Yes, in the absolute best way.
I've done a couple like children's songs / albums with Flula.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, he is one of my favorite people. He's just so fucking funny.
He is so funny.
And,
he's one of the guests that came on this show that was just so aware of what was going on. Like he did some research before coming on, and then like he took notes as we do our like little open before we introduce the guest.
Yeah.
And he was referencing everything, and he was a lot of fun to play with.
He's a very good improviser. Like, I mean,
he is.
He is fantastic.
So fucking fast too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have a lot of awesome folks on it. It's a great show.
Yeah. It works out really well, and it's just it's both it's satisfying, we think, to people who really like weird world building.
Yeah.
Like maybe like Welcome to Night Vale or Valley Heat equivalent, but also is just kind of like if you're a classic rock nerd, it works. If you're not at all, it works really well.
You don't need to know a damn thing about
anything.
Classic rock. You don't need to know any of it.
I actually am curious, Leighton. What is, as a 26-year-old woman from North Carolina, what is your experience with classic rock, capital C, capital R? Like, is that something that you acknowledge? Did you grow up with it? Is that part of your life? Like, or are you entirely outside the classic rock demographic?
Name examples of what you would consider classic rock.
Well, I'll let the experts chime in here.
Here we go. Boston, Aerosmith, Journey, Black
Deep
Sabbath,
Purple.
Led Zeppelin,
Queen.
Deep Purple.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was a big Queen fan as a child. I would always buy Queen CDs at yard sales. Other
Best
than
place
that,
to go.
it's obviously
Yes.
like ambient. You hear everything, but it is not my preference.
Yeah. If you were in North Carolina, you've probably heard a lot of Skennard
Yep.
on the local stations. Where in North Carolina are you from?
Wilmington?
Okay. I know.
Yeah.
We go to, my wife is from Black Mountain, North Carolina. And I
Okay.
lived in Chapel Hill for a time. And,
Oh, very nice.
We go to North Topsail or Surf City or Curie Beach all the time. So.
That Curie Beach pier with that dinky little arcade that's right in front
Oh
of it.
my God, that half arcade, half store with like some of the dumbest little things that you can buy, like a pirate holding a jar, like a big bottle of wine. Like,
Oh, I need that.
Can't drive the boat. It says something stupid like that on there. So
Yeah.
A thing that I love and deeply miss are the big, just everywhere in a beach town where it'll be called like waves or
yes.
dunes. And it's just like you get your boogie boards, your swimsuits, your hermit crabs. Henny
You got a
tattoo
hermit crab from there.
tramp stamp.
Yep.
Like,
sometimes the doors are just like a giant shark that you walk through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we made a commercial about it, but it's like also when it's like it could be any shirt from any shore, but they just shove whatever the name is of where you are.
Yes.
Where it's just like it's not a bald spot, it's a solar panel for a sex machine. Ocean City, Maryland.
Yes.
Like you're like, okay, it's not really associated, but whatever.
The one I always think about is I don't have a drinking problem. I drink, I get drunk, I fall down, no problem. Atlantic City.
Exactly.
And you're like,
100%.
come on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
There's one that-
Johnson, your big dogs, but then also,
course,
any of those that are truly just like my favorite one is when I went to Mexico and my wife bought me one that just says, I heart to fart. Playa del Carmen.
In Myrtle Beach, there was a like you could go through their coffee mug area, and there was one that was just two bare breasts, and the nipples were holes. So, and you could drink out the top, but you could also just pour it out the front of the breasts if you wanted to.
I believe they sold that in
Myrtle
Ocean
Beach.
City, Maryland as well.
Yep.
And it said Ocean City, Maryland.
Was the breasts on the top?
No, it was just the breasts. It was just two gigantic breasts.
It's a beautiful
Handle in the
ceramic
back.
piece.
I mean, that's not, how are you not constantly spilling it out of the nipples?
I have
You
no
are.
idea. When you
That's my
fill it up,
question.
it's just constantly just spraying out the front.
I mean, that's nippleware for you.
I feel like someone buying that's not there for like the design prowess of a wonderul cup to drink out of on a day-to-day.
I just found my new office mug.
when I was growing up, actually for most of my childhood and then early adulthood, my dad owned a retail store in North Jersey in Pompton Lakes, Wecht's Army and Navy store.
Nice.
New Jersey. Actually rebranded just as Wex in the 70s to move away from the Army and Navy thing. But we would go to the gift convention at the Jacob Javits Center in New York every year, which was 100% filled with these kind of gag gifts that he would then stock in it was like a medium-sized local department store that he ran. And it was the greatest moment of my childhood, just walking up and down this aisle of the aisles of this convention center over and over, looking at the dumbest things that the gift industry had to offer.
I was just talking about like sexual board games that they sell at like Spencer Gifts or like Harriet Carter magazine. And it was with another parent where I was just like, how awkward would it be?
Oh my God.
If I showed up and was like, you know what we should do? Sex the game. We hardly know each other.
Yeah.
Let's do
I know everyone was talking about playing Chutes and Ladders, but I brought Sex the game.
Or they're the sex dice, right? You know, like the different positions and all whatever you're going to do. Those are always fascinating. A lot of golf-related humor, which
so much golf
is lost on me.
And a lot of Iron Maiden shirts.
Yes, a lot of Iron Maiden. Also, always, do you guys remember, you might be old enough where, I can't remember the guy's name, he had a series of books. The first one was called Mouth Sounds, and the second one was called Zounds, and it was basically a CD or a little like record, and he would teach you how to, imitate various things with his mouth. But it was done mostly in print. So
Fred Newman
reading
Fred Newman.
That's I was
mind you,
even
while
books.
you start, I was like, he's gonna say Rich Hall. We're talking about Sniglets.
Oh no, believe me, I was
like, what's it gonna
Sniglets.
be? Which one?
Yeah.
He would teach you how to do that one that all the kids, like the cool kids in high school, could do that I could never.
This.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it's picking up.
That's not as good as the cool kids could do it.
Here, wait.
You guys are going to get an AV club for this.
I'm picking up a drop sound. I mean, this is gold.
Yeah, Fred Newman. Fuck. I remember those very, very clear. And there were two, at least, maybe even three.
I would always get Fred Newman mixed up with the Money Jacket guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of my first early SNL sketches I wrote in a sketch class. It was called Cyclone of Knowledge. And it was that guy, but he kept screaming. And then my idea was that a cyclone would come across and attack you when he gave you new knowledge. That would go, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
So why hasn't this been on the Hawk yet?
I know. It should show up because that was also my problem I remember having with sketch writing where I was like, my first sketches, I was like, let me write something I cannot pull off on stage.
Right.
I remember also kind of in the same vein, I had an instructional magic VHS tape. I believe the guy's name was Paul Daniels. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember anything about what he taught there, except at one point he's like, you don't have a magic wand? Improvise, use a pen. And the phrase improvise, use a pen is now a permanent part of my vocabulary, even though I couldn't tell you what he was fucking improvising.
So he's saying there's magic in everything, basically.
There's magic in all of us.
Really?
Yeah. Although it feels weird when you say that, it feels weirdly like crypto-Christian, which maybe it was.
It probably was.
Yeah. Crypto-Christian, are they like, have you bought God's Bitcoin?
Yeah.
It's prosperity gospel through Bitcoin and NFTs.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
So there was a brief mention of Myrtle Beach.
Yes.
What a strange place. I don't get to talk to people about Myrtle Beach.
Oh, God.
much.
We would go every summer. I mean, honestly, so my family for the longest time, I grew up in Radford, Virginia, so southwest corner of Virginia.
Time.
Oh, that's what the song was. It was written about my family.
I imagine it was.
Yeah, he was running out of material.
Yeah, there was a verse that Billy Joel left out about how we would only go to Civil War battlegrounds on our summer vacations.
And do tours on tape.
Yeah, 100%.
Can't get that in Long Island. Yeah.
No. So we went to. So that was our thing. We would do that for our vacations with my dad. and my mom, and I saw every Civil War battlefield. And then my dad was like, I don't want to go on vacation anymore. So my mom and I started going on vacation.
Ultimate dad thing to say.
It's a dad throw down. So like, we're not going on it anymore.
No logic and more determinate than anything ever.
Yeah.
My only goal as a father now related to that is I never want to wait online for anything.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Ultimate,
it's the best.
Let's get there 3 hours early just so there's no one ahead of us in line. And even if it's longer than waiting in the line would have been, I don't fucking care. So
I enjoy thinking about the things that my child will be like, God, my dad, or with yours, are like, God, I'm so obsessed with no lines.
Well, he almost
never would shut up about it.
He had a heart attack at Carowinds in Charlotte, which is that's the King's Dominion, Busch Gardens type amusement park in the Charlotte area. He had a heart attack there. And I think that's what kind of brought on the whole, no more vacations. We're done. It's going to kill me. And so my family, my mom and my little sister and myself started going on vacation with my best friend's family. And they were big Myrtle Beach heads. And so we went to Myrtle Beach every year. And we would stay at, I want to say it was called the Landmark. I'm not sure. It was a really crappy hotel, but it was right on the water. And we would get burgers from Peaches. We'd go to Pavilions, which is just a nasty little amusement park in the middle. Burgers from Peaches.
And Peaches from Burgers, of course.
And Peaches from
Burgers.
Yeah.
There's two little shopping areas in Myrtle Beach. One is called Barefoot Landing, and the other one is Broadway at the Beach.
Baby.
Broadway at the Beach. I was just talking to my wife about Broadway at the Beach the other day. Do you remember, was it New York themed? Where it was like, Broadway's here in Myrtle Beach.
I mean, they would always do the Broadway at the beach.
Yes.
Jingle for it. But
and they would also have that Myrtle Beach song always playing, like Myrtle Beach Days. It's like
Manhattan
this Carolina
Transfer would perform there the whole time.
100%. Yeah.
Was it actually, was it the rest of it like designed like New York themed? Or
I think they tried. No, it wasn't. Then why was it called Broadway?
I have no idea, but I mean, it was
That's
just
the thing. I was like, is
the mecca of gimmick restaurants. It's like Joe's Crab Shack and a huge
Joe's
Margaritaville. And I think there was a Dick's Last Resort nearby.
Gotta be a Bubba Gump, right?
Carlos and Charlie's, or is that only down in the islands?
I don't think they had that.
Yeah.
They did have the Ripley's Aquarium.
Oh, Hard Rock Cafe.
If you like going to see weird stuff at Ripley's, believe it or not, why don't you let those guys also do an aquarium
the
with
original
things?
wasn't wet enough for you.
Right.
So
was it weird?
Come see the three-eyed shark. No, it was all like real stuff, like real.
It was a
animals.
pretty legit aquarium, honestly.
Yeah.
They had like one of the cool tunnels that goes through a big tank.
Oh, I love that.
And all the sad sharks like going over you, like, leave Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Kill us. Yeah.
They had one putt-putt place built into Broadway at the Beach, which had like a dragon and a tower that would come out every time on the top of the hour.
And it would come out
I was
and blow fire.
Terrified of it.
Oh,
I didn't want to be
Real
anywhere
fire?
near it.
Yes, real fire.
Yeah.
You would feel the heat from it. Like somebody got burned by that at least once a season.
He is unfortunately gone now, which is really tragic to me.
Oh, rest in power.
And then there was
Dragon.
Planet Hollywood had a big restaurant over there, and then
I just have to say off of that, I remember the one time I went to Myrtle Beach exclaiming loudly to no one, there's a Planet Hollywood and Alabama has a restaurant?
Alabama, no, it was a restaurant and theater. So
did they just perform there?
Any night you could see Alabama. They're all like, well, here, I guess, hell, we live in Myrtle Beach now. And
Beard guy, get over here.
Yeah, hey, no, this beard guy, no, that beard guy. They all have beards.
Yeah.
And I remember my buddy's mom, Sandy, just being like, one time when we come down here, we got to make sure we see Alabama. Now, Sandy Beasley was a wonderful woman. She passed away last year. And my buddy Dan and I were talking. So she wanted to see
by the way, the dragon got a rest in power, but she didn't.
Oh, rest in power. Sandy
I was going to say, but I didn't want to be ghost.
No, it's always good. I live for a rest in power. But she took us to see. So my dad had another heart attack in 1992.
Vacations will do that. Yeah.
At Universal Studios.
No, he was just at work. It was just normal. Oh. He was at work for the Defense Department, and he and my mom were going to take Dan and I to see Metallica that night at the Roanoke Civic Center, Black Album Tour, 1992.
It's also wild, by the way, that I know the Roanoke Civic Center commercials from even being in like Salisbury, Maryland. I would hear somehow, like Metallica at the Roanoke Civic Center.
Roanoke Civic Center. And so they couldn't take us, and we're like, oh man, we're not gonna see fucking Metallica now. Both like mulleted, pube stash, and Sandy's like, I'll take you guys.
Aw.
And she's there, this sweet Southern woman. We're sitting up at like kind of in the nosebleeds. And this was the tour that Metallica had their documentary, A Day in the Life of Metallica, open for the tour. So it was just on these screens, showing how they recorded the Black Album.
Mm-hmm.
And then halfway
through, so many
through,
naked breasts and pictures of Winger.
So many naked breasts. And Sandy's like, oh God, what have I gotten into? And then halfway through...
Wait, and you're how old at this point, Jason?
I am 14.
14, okay.
At this point. And halfway through the documentary, we watched the whole fucking documentary. Now, just to note, that thing came out on 2 VHS tapes when they finally released it. So that was the opening act for Metallica in 92.
They played the whole thing?
They played the whole fucking movie.
What?
So I guess as they were changing from VHS tape 1 to VHS 2... Lars Ulrich comes on the camera and he's like, are all you Roanoke motherfuckers ready to go? And we're like, yeah. And Sandy's like, oh, Jesus. Oh, God. And then the documentary ends.
This ain't no Alabama.
Please, God, let it be Alabama coming out on the stage. And it was. They come right out, Enter Sandman. And I still remember that to this day. And I'm like, thank you so much for taking us to that. Amazing show. I bought the Metallica shirt that was all over print, every record cover. Wore it to school the next day, which you had to in high school. If you saw a show the night before, you better be wearing that shirt the next fucking day.
Yeah.
And so
did you see any entertainment in Myrtle Beach, Leighton?
Did you go to the Bama?
Did you go? The House of Blues always had good shows. I saw Toll there.
Oh, that was another always driving past it thing. I mean, they had the medieval times there,
yes,
which
they did.
was my first exposure to medieval times. But I think more so the draw for me was always why does Myrtle Beach specifically have such a high concentration of novelty putt-putt courses? Is there a reason for it? Because they're everywhere.
Everywhere. And so many great themes like pirates.
Yeah, or here's a crashed airplane.
And then another pirates.
Yeah. Another pirates.
And I love
here's
a novelty
a big Kraken.
Man, that's dope.
And they give you the little plastic lays.
There was in the Jersey Shore, and this would have been, late 80s when I was, early teens. There were novelty putt-putt courses, but the ones that were really impressive there were ones that were like meticulously landscaped with like really elaborate setups for all the holes. Oh wow. And I remember thinking that, and there were a bunch of them, it wasn't just like one thing. So I remember that being like the really impressive ones to me as a kid, being like, oh man, they really sculpted the fuck out of that hedge.
Yeah.
And then there were like all these you had to get it in just the right hole, and it would go down the tube to the other thing. That sort of stuff.
That one over in Sherman Oaks or whatever is like so budge. Like every time I brought my kid, and every time I'm like, it's not exactly what I want it to be.
It's not great.
There is no, honestly, it is like a hodgepodge of garbage. Like it's just like 4 different courses. They're all either like the hardest hole you've ever done or not at all. Yep. Usually in piercing sun with no coverage.
That's absolutely correct.
And the end hole, you always think there's going to be the and you get a free round, but it's just like, no, it just goes somewhere.
It just goes somewhere. And so the theme, it's called, I learned about this. It's called Sherman Oaks Castle Park. It's been around forever. It's a big castle with an arcade in it, and then there's a mini golf course behind it. And it is. Did you know that's a city park? That's an LA city park.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, so LA maintains that. And
so Parks and Recreation, LA Parks and Recreation maintains this.
No wonder it's so
crappy putt-putt place.
Wow,
if you look at it, you go to LA City.
Yeah.
I've been there with Audrey for sure, and it sucks. It's a classic Valley thing, I guess, but not good.
And I tell you, when you've only brought your child to a all-you-can-play for an hour video game place, And then you're like, let's go here. And he doesn't understand that. And I'm like, stop playing games. Like, you're used to me giving you like 40 credits. Yeah. And you just spent $4 on like a giant space invaders that took 10 seconds.
Just so you can win tickets. Yeah.
Just so you can win the tickets in the stupid Minecraft game that gives you like Minecraft cards.
What's it called? It's like Minecraft. Not Revolutions. That's the Matrix.
Yeah, that would be great if they merged the two.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just move the franchises together. Why not? Minecraft Resurrections.
Man, it was so much money we blew through so quick, and I was like, we got to get out of here. We got to get back to Neon Retro Arcade in Pasadena. Because
what is it? Neon Retro Arcade in Pasadena?
Yeah, it's across from Scientology, but it's a retro arcade, and it's an hour for like 15 or 20.
Oh my God.
And I'll say that like we almost beat the Simpsons game because I just kept like giving credits, and I was like, I got further than I ever got. And they've got Tapper, aka Root Beer Tapper, which was my favorite game.
I could talk, Geoff. I could talk all day about fucking Root Beer Tapper. I love and Timber. Also, in the same style, right, where you're chopping down trees. I love Tapper.
It's amazing that they did not realize that a game for children where you're serving beer might be a little problematic even
to a bunch of like, and then you're in the normal bar, and then you're in Jockland, and then it's like you're in the future. So fucking weird, but there's something about that style. It's like vaguely 16-bit, right?
Yeah.
So cool and appealing, and there was nothing else like it in the arcade.
And that the handle is a beer tap. Like that's what you're using.
Yeah, that's right.
The best.
I'm looking at the Sherman Oaks Castle Park website right now.
Oh, boy, it's
and I think you guys are way off the mark here because it clearly states in the biggest letters that it can, it's where the fun begins.
Well,
it does begin there, but it also ends pretty quick when you walk through the door.
Stops. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I just took Audrey to not Dave and Buster's, round one in Burbank the other day, which has a lot of the gambling for children type games, but also a lot of really great rhythm games, which are extremely fun.
What are the gambling for children games?
Anything that's like a ticket. So there's one of those. There's the cranes, which is one thing.
There's
also a game which is just like you're pushing little pucks off a thing. It's kind of like the coin pushers.
The coin shit, which I never understood.
But it's just for tickets. Like you're pushing these little, things that have numbers of tickets.
You want to break a child's heart? Go to Little Tokyo and go to one of those crane rooms and watch them immediately be like, "I just threw money down a drain." Immediately.
I had to ban those. Yeah, we go to Little Tokyo pretty regularly, and I was like, Audrey, you cannot do any more crane games because
we did it once, and I was like, this is it, it's over.
Yeah,
I'll tell you not to keep this on LA area centric video arcades, but I will recommend because they went to it during the summer camp, and then my son wanted to go there again. John's Incredible Pizza is what you remember Chuck E. Cheese being like.
Really?
But is how Chuck E. Cheese is not anymore. It was the size of like a Walmart superstore with an all-you-can-eat terrible pizza buffet that if you ate meat, and I don't, so it was a bummer, they had a peanut butter and pepperoni pizza that they kept swearing by.
Yep. Oh, my God.
And that was just the pizza room with all these different rooms with themes. And then on the other side, they had full carnival games.
Jesus Christ.
And with also like inside bowling, like there was like Terminator games, so you could play all the games and you could do freaking full like mind sweep, like breaking your brain games. It was unbelievable, and it was so big, and I felt crazy in there. I think we went out to like Arcadia. It was like out there.
Yes. That's by what's in Arcadia? Isn't that where the windmill Denny's is? Or
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Denny's shaped like a windmill.
It's fantastic out there.
I agree with that. I have such a clear memory of being, I don't know, 10-ish during the heyday of Chuck E. Cheese, 1985, and dumping every cent I had into Dragon's Lair and Space Ace.
Oh my God, yeah. Which they have at Neon often.
Yeah. Well, it's such a quarter eater. But
the crazy part is like because now I'll go again to Chuck E. for like birthdays. And it's so different than in my memory. And I also want to know how much my memory has been changed. Because in my memory, the one I went to, there was a children's entrance, a different door. And it was almost like you climbed through a doggy door, through a tunnel to get into it.
I do remember that.
I remember that too.
Okay, good. But my biggest thing that I remember is, yes, they had the band in the main room.
Yeah.
But that they had a stand-up comedy room where the King Lion would do like old Catskilly like jokes.
Wait. An animatronic or
animatronic lion?
Okay, great.
Doing like, and it was a tiny room, and you sat there like you were at like Caroline's, like a tiny Caroline's. And like, like, you know, like.
Where's everyone from?
Yeah, exactly. He was on a brick wall in my memory. Like it was.
So my wife just left.
It made me take pause. Like it's just stuff like that.
I have a vague memory of that too. Did you guys ever? So you do the thing, you go to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, and then you take a break because you're a little too old. But then as like, I don't know, when you're 17 or something, you go back because you want to relive the heyday of your youth. And they
don't let you
out.
In.
And they don't let yeah. Or
That's a sobering moment where you're like, it'd be funny to go Chuck E. Cheese. And they're like, no. Like, you're at the age where it's illegal for you to be in here. It's like, oh, right. Never mind.
I was a showbiz guy. We didn't have Chuck E. Cheese. We had Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah, the South. That's yeah.
Did you have that, Layden? Showbiz
No,
pizza?
we had a really, like, these Chuck E. Cheese's sound. Ours was just like the tiniest. We didn't have a children's entrance. We didn't have a depressed stand-up lion. Like,
did you have an animatronic band though? That was like,
yeah, but any sane child avoids that like the plague.
Yeah.
Oh, not me. I loved every second of it. I'm like, that band rolls. And now,
and I gotta say, Chuck E. Cheese pizza now, pretty good.
Is it really?
It ain't bad. It's better than you think it's gonna be. I was like, better than Domino's. Like,
I remember during the pandemic, they were putting together these like Chuck E. Cheese pizza packs where you could order and they would deliver it to you, and it was like 4 Chuck E. Cheese pizzas, a bunch of tickets, and a bunch of little like plastic games. And Kristen and I were like, shit, should we do this? This seems like a good deal.
It ain't
They
bad.
show up to your apartment, but they won't give it to you because
exactly.
Yeah.
They put you on a national registrar for ordering that.
Well, it's because I made them go through the kids' door.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta crawl to get in here.
Really bend down there. Yeah.
But it is good. Get Chuck E. Cheese pizzas with the main thing the hawk is telling you. It's got a little garlic on the crust. It ain't bad.
While we talk about this, I'm shocked we've never had a Chuck E. Cheese type thing on the hawk.
I know.
Or any sort of putt-putt place.
The putt-putt we should have. I think, honestly, I've steered away from Chuck E. Cheese because it feels like it's maybe covered by like Five Nights at Freddy
100%.
World.
Oh, okay.
And it feels like we immediately would go to someone's getting murdered and killed. So then I was like, well, that's, I think, what that game is, according to my son's terrible description of the one time he hardly didn't play it.
Yes.
Which is also very fun to have a child. I've told this to Jason, like, now I'm at the age where I remember once in summer camp, I had a kid, and like I was always obsessed with horror movies, but there were certain ones I didn't see. This one guy was like, I've seen every single one. So let me tell you the plot. And then he'd tell me the plot, and I'd be like, oh my God, what happened with Jason? What happened with Freddy?
Oh, yeah.
And as I got older, I was like, he was lying. He made all this stuff up. Like,
Do you remember any of his plots?
he said that I was like, why is Jason angry? Like, why is Jason killing people? And he said, because they desecrated his grave. Like, and I was like, that's kind of a plot point to 5 or 6 ish, but not really. That's like Tommy coming back and Frankensteining him. But like, my son does that with It. I was like, what do you think it is? Because like, they're all obsessed with Pennywise, but none of them have ever actually seen it.
Wait, how old's your son?
He's 7 now. So like,
okay, when Audrey was 7, she also had classmates that were obsessed with It.
Yeah, and and I always, as the horror fan, I'm
Perfect
just like,
book for
I'm like,
7 years old.
And I'm like, I swear it's not me. I keep like reiterating. I was like, I'm not the one showing if someone actually is, because I can think of 1 or 2 parents who definitely are showing the kid.
100. Yep, we had that too.
You know the ones, and you're like, let's just maybe stay away.
There was a first grader that claimed her. Actually, this was really good. Her favorite movie was Poltergeist, and
yeah.
I was talking to her dad, and he was like, she tells that to everybody. She's never seen it, and I won't let her. And it makes me seem like a monster in public, but she keeps saying her favorite movie is Poltergeist.
That's the thing. God. Like, I'm like, surrounded by Dario Argento posters. I've got Halloween 3 masks next to me. But like, I'm always like, I swear it's not me. I was like, look at the kid who did watch Jaws in like daycare and said it was his favorite movie.
The little girl's gonna be like, "What can I do? What can I say? I just like Craig T. Nelson."
It's a big, and hey, who doesn't love the T? I mean, that guy is
true.
My favorite show is Coach.
Yeah, a show that people still talk about all the time because of its enduring relevance.
I'm surprisingly always thinking about Coach.
Yeah,
constantly.
Like too much. Yeah. I have had too many times of being like, maybe tonight's the night I start a Coach rewatch, and I often end that with, "What am I doing with my life? Stop."
Why would I do this? I've been there. Many
you
times.
realize also that how many seasons you're looking down the barrel of for any of these.
Yeah.
So even for I was like, I'll do that with the Night Court, and I was like, that's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of
For
episodes.
Wings. I felt that for Wings.
Yeah,
and,
Cheers. I definitely did. I can keep it easier to sound like I'm going to do another Garth Marenghi rewatch.
Yes.
It's 6 episodes. I get in. I know what they are. I get out.
I've never really done it, but I want to go back and do a full rewatch of the ones that lasted 6 episodes, like the Tortellis.
Yes.
Or Misfits of Science.
Top of the heap. The Married with Children spinoff.
Yeah.
with
right.
Joseph Bologna.
I saw, as they were on, I saw every episode of the Tortellis. Yes. I was obsessed with 100%. The Tortellis.
I was like, what a great idea. Of course, Nick Tortelli should have his own show.
Okay, wait, let's ask Leighton.
Yeah.
Who, again, is 26. Who do you think Nick Tortelli is? What is that a spinoff of?
What show is that a spinoff of?
Yes, it was a short-lived sitcom that was a spinoff of a much more famous sitcom.
Feel free to dunk on me for being 26 here. I
No,
couldn't even
wait.
give you a good guess.
If you were 46, you might not know why this existed.
That's right.
This is our sickness here. This is a going to a what's that from kind of world.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Fair enough.
What would you guess? Do you have any idea at all?
No, I can't. I don't even think I could name
I'll give
more
you a
shows
hint.
than the
Some
ones
people
that you
say
just
it's the
said.
best sitcom of all time.
It has a famous finale
and a famous theme song.
Is it MASH?
Close.
You're not too far away.
Take MASH, put it in the 80s,
and
in Boston,
bar,
and it's exactly the same.
I genuinely don't know.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh.
So Cheers being the massive thing, they decided Carla, the waitress,
Carla
Tortelli,
her husband, who shows up now and then,
Dan Hedaya.
Right. From Alien 3, from Alien Resurrection,
from Dick.
Clueless.
I like to go with
Clueless.
the most Dick.
Yes. That's right. He was in Alien Resurrection, wasn't he?
Yes, he gets an alien tail up into his butt.
Yeah,
maybe
indeed he does.
And he played Nixon and Dick.
Yep.
Yes, he played Nixon and Dick, exactly. And he got his own show, much like, again, Matt LeBlanc and Joseph Bologna in the Top of the Heap, the spinoff of Married with Children.
Mm-hmm.
Family Matters is, of course, one of the more famous ones because it's a spinoff of Perfect Strangers, which is crazy that show became more popular.
Yeah.
She was hardly a character in the original.
Well, it's so interesting, too, with Cheers. It's like they go, there are 2 Cheers spinoffs, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Is there another? Yeah.
I mean, technically 3 now because
I guess that's
the
true.
new Frasier.
Yeah. It's like, there's the Tortellis, which dies on the vine basically immediately because, it's just caricatures of this Italian-American family. Mm-hmm. And then Frasier goes and becomes a beloved classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a gamble. It's just like a claw machine trying to do a spin-off of a sitcom in the 80s.
Not everything can be Young Sheldon.
No, that's the thing. Not everything can be Young Rock. Not everything can be young. Muppet Babies had it right that we should make everything a child.
Again, not to get too far into what's that from territory, but every time I hear Muppet Babies, I think of the short-lived Little Muppet Monsters, which aired at exactly the same time and whose theme song lived on in the end credits to Muppet Babies, even after it was no longer Muppet Babies and Little Muppet Monsters.
Man.
So Yeah.
This is now where I'm also imagining a world where everyone's just like, well, we've made a billion Star Wars things. X-Men 97 is doing good. Let's do Droids 97 or something.
Yes.
The short-lived cartoon.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 was fantastic, by the way.
Isn't that the right way then that the industry would be like, Barbie did well, let's do Polly Pocket. X-Men 97 did great. Let's do the Ewok cartoon. Like, whatever it is.
Now, I haven't watched it yet. What is 97 about X-Men 97? Why is it called that?
It's that's when the original animated series ended, I believe. So it picks up right where the previous animated series ended. And It's great. It's fantastic. I cried during an episode. I didn't expect
that's
it.
Awesome. People have been raving about it.
That happened to me in the Tortellis, too.
Yeah, first episode Tortellis. He was like, where's Carla?
Yeah, he was crying. He pooped his pants while he was crying. Where's Carla? And his wife was like, honey, because she was a ditzy blonde.
Who was that actress? Do you remember?
It's hard. I've been honestly this whole time remember because I'm like, it ain't Donna Dixon, but it's Donna Dixon adjacent.
She was like tall, blonde, like top ponytail.
Yep.
It says Jean Kasem.
Oh, Casey Kasem's wife.
Right.
Yes, that's why we know her.
That's crazy. I forgot about that.
And if you look up Jean Kasem, she also comes up with the questions, what was the cause of Casey Kasem's death?
Oh, my. Uh-oh.
So,
and the answer, Jean Kasem.
He didn't keep his feet on the ground while he was reaching for the stars.
No, he did
unfortunately,
not.
one time. Yeah, and just shot off into space. And
it's like Willy Wonka. He just floated off into a fan and took him down.
This also says she was in Ghostbusters. Do you remember what she was in Ghostbusters?
Probably somebody that Bill Murray was gross to, is my guess. Speaking of movies that maybe people should be showing their kids so early, according to my friend's schoolmates.
Who was? Now,
she was the blonde that Rick Moranis' character.
Oh yes, he works with her at the accounting firm.
Yes,
at the party. She's at the party. Yes,
at the party.
We was talking about the aspirin.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Well, we nailed it. We figured it out.
Wow.
Have we totally alienated you from this conversation about
No,
TV from before you were born?
Talking.
I love these because I can just, this is podcasting easy mode. I just sit here and enjoy.
You just look up what we're talking about and be like, all right, let them fucking talk about it.
They're having their fun.
Yeah, I swear we do let Leighton talk occasionally on this show.
Because we do value women's voices on the show.
Yes, as we know famously. I listen
sometimes.
To women. Yeah, that's right.
much like Nick Tortelli's wife, we value.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how Jean Kasem's character in Ghostbusters is a part of the television and film character encyclopedia as Tall Woman at Party.
Wonderful.
She don't need no name. Get out
Consider
of here.
me medium height woman on podcast.
Yeah. Hey, Ivan, what should we name this character? I don't care. It's a woman. Just say what her
I'm focusing on this ghost blowjob scene. Get off my back.
How many named female characters are there in Ghostbusters? I'd be surprised if it was more than 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
Janine,
Dana.
I
That
think that might be it. Honestly.
Librarian. That's her real name, though. Legal name.
Ghost that blows Dan Aykroyd.
Yep. Again, Christian name.
Yeah.
Maybe Zool is technically. I mean, Gozer.
I think Zool
Oh, by the way, you know what I learned today?
Mm-hmm.
That what was it? I was looking up and Abe Laboriel. Do you know who he is? Bassist. He played on all those Jarreau records and like George Benson and stuff.
And his son plays for McCartney, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the drummer for McCartney.
He's the drummer, yeah.
Yep.
Amazing drummer and a truly incredible bassist. But I was looking up his some of his solo stuff this morning, and he has an album with a title that was Vamos a Gozar. And I was like, excuse me? I know a bit of Spanish, but I didn't realize that gozar is Spanish for to enjoy.
Well, and so here's the thing connecting to that too. If I had a genie and it would grant me one wish involving Dan Aykroyd, and that one wish was I could ask him one question. The only question I have is Zool from the band Magma that I have a tattoo of, which is a 70s weird fusion band, but they called their music Zool, which was in the fake language that they made up called Kobayan, which was because all the albums were about the intellectuals leaving a dying Earth and going to a new planet called Kobaya. But Zool means celestial music because Christian Vander was like, you cannot describe what we make. We can only describe it with this made-up language.
I guarantee it was from Magma. I guarantee it was from
Zool
Magma.
is to Magma what Jizz
He
is
seems
to
like
Star
the type
Wars.
of person that would be in that band.
That's what I imagine, because also at that time, that's when like Jodorowsky was going to have Zool or have Magma be the music for House Harkonnen.
Right.
Or as they say in the new one, House Harkonnen, which drives me up a
really
wall. And I'm
throws
like,
me off. I completely agree with you. Yes.
Like, we have all agreed on Harkonnen. What are we doing here? But at one point, they were going to be the music behind House Harkonnen in the Dune version he was going to make. So I got to ask Dan Aykroyd, if you're listening.
I could have asked him in that one interaction I had with him.
Oh, do tell, Jason.
Yeah,
when
please.
did you meet Dan Aykroyd?
So my wife wrote for 2 seasons of SNL, and we were going to an SNL after party. And if you got a sketch on that night, they sat you at a really good table. And we had a really good table in the back because I think Kristen had 2 sketches on that night or something like that. And this was at Dos Caminos in New York on Park.
I like Dos Caminos.
So good. So good.
It's a good number of Caminos. You got to that.
You got to have at least 2.
When I say I like, by the way, we got a gift certificate once, I think, when Harry was born, and we were like, I guess we'll use it there. And it was okay.
Yeah. Well, so we get there early and we're walking in and we're being taken to our table in the back. And we pass by a table with Dan Aykroyd just eating I can't even remember. It could have been cheese enchilada.
64-ounce steak.
64-ounce steak raw. Sitting
it was
with
the great
somebody.
outdoors. He was trying to replicate the old
exactly
96er.
Right. Yes, the old 96er.
And we're clearly going to pass his table as we go by. And we're getting closer and closer to Dan Aykroyd. And as we get closer, he looks at me. And he looks me up and down. And then when I get a little closer, he looks me up and down again. And then reaches out and pulls his champagne bucket closer to him. So I couldn't swoop in and take his champagne as I walked to the back.
He knew.
Like I was the least trustworthy guy to ever walk by anyone at Dos Caminos. And that was my one Dan Aykroyd interaction.
Yeah, you should have asked him about Zool.
I'm like, hey, excuse me,
you were patting
my
him
buddy
down.
Geoff has this question about Magma and Zool.
Mind if I help myself to some champagne while we discuss?
Champagne, delicious. Yeah.
That's like somebody who has had that experience. Like someone yoinked his champagne at some point.
100%.
Yeah. I like to
That's
think
why
that
he
that's
made
Dan
his own
Aykroyd's
vodka.
main association with SNL after parties.
Yeah.
He's like,
Someone's
someone's trying to steal my...
Someone's
like
going to
this.
yoink my champagne.
I like the story a lot, Leighton. Your origin story for the Crystal Head vodka. Someone stole his champagne. He's like, I'm making my own now. And he somehow doesn't quite understand what champagne is and ends up with a bunch of potatoes. And then he's like, I'm going to make potato champagne. What? Vodka? That's what it's called?
Dan, there's no such thing as potato champagne.
I made it today. It's right here. Try
I'm
some.
fueled
It's
by
delicious.
spice.
Turn that Magma record on.
Why isn't it carbonated? Yeah.
Just because it's not from that one valley in France.
Yeah.
This tastes like hell. I'm going to sell it in a crystal skull.
It's the only way I can sell this crap. Is to put it into a crystal skull.
The Zool thing is really throwing me off now. I'm sorry. It's the...
Yeah.
Because I thought I knew Magma stuff, but I didn't know enough about that. Yeah.
I mean, again, I have a Magma tattoo. I mean,
Yeah, so
I'm like way too like. I have a song on my a new record coming out that I wrote in Kobayan.
I have a Magma
Wow.
sticker that I have to give you.
Yeah, you got a
that our
Magma
buddy
sticker for
Chalky,
me?
that everybody knows Chalky.
Yes.
Gave
Guest
me
on
to
the show,
give to Jeff, and I still haven't given it to him.
Unbelievable
Sorry,
band.
Chalky.
One of the best bands. Seen them live multiple times. They are just. Oof.
Are they still at it?
Oh yeah, they'll put out. He's constantly like they'll put out new records that are just like, this was a piece we wrote in 1978 that was a part of the Mechanic Destructor Commando sequence.
Yeah.
Like, and now we're re-recording. But yeah,
Amazing.
it's like him and his divorced wife Stella still doing
This is a
backups.
song that was stolen for Ghostbusters.
Exactly. I mean, and I would have to all say this in French because he doesn't speak English, so he does.
Oh, okay.
He's either talking in Kobayan or scat, usually. Usually when you see him, he has a long section that's going, skibadoo, skibadoo, skiroleto, skirolellotor.
You're really selling me on this band, man.
I mean, we have them as a bonus Patreon coming up. I think actually the next episode of Album Poll, I'm making you listen to Mechanic Destructo Commando.
Yep.
Oh, that's very good.
Yes.
I was thinking, speaking of bands that are keep putting out stuff, how many of the Chicago albums have you listened to? All 34 or whatever they're up to?
Oh,
now,
God.
I mean, talk about committing to a bit.
Yeah.
Right? The vast majority of those, if not all of them, have the number in Roman numerals.
Yeah.
Right, in the title.
I have a hard time getting through full Chicago records. So
I mean, same.
Yeah. I mean, 26 or 5 or 4 or whatever that song is, which I'll never remember.
25 or 6 to 4.
That one is an amazing song.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. I'm looking at this and like it's all numbers.
It's all numbers, and they're all Roman numerals, which is the crazier part. And what are they up to? Is it 34? Did I get that right?
That's a lot of atonal horns.
Yeah. They fucking, this actually makes me angry. They cheat because they put like greatest hits albums as numbered albums, which is fucking
come on.
That's bull.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
don't
and also,
yeah.
Did it exist after Peter Cetera left? Let's be real, guys.
Well, I think as a legal
Not
business
really.
entity, they would argue yes.
Oh, 100%. But like the heart and soul walked right out the door and took his bass with him.
I tell you, if you want to hear some even more atonal horns than Chicago's atonal horns, which is a recurring bit that we have on the Hawk.
Yes.
Outside of the San Diego Zoo, there was a street horn like trio that was also playing Chicago.
Oh, great.
And it somehow was more atonal. It was like borderline like free jazz.
I wish I could find a friend of mine once played this album for me, which was like a horn orchestra from India. But the whole thing it was like instruments that were left there by the British that the locals didn't really know how to play. So they just picked them up and started making music with them. And it doesn't sound anything like any horn record you've ever heard. But it's like saxophones and the kind of like marching band type instruments. And it's so fucking cool. I've been thinking about it for years.
I mean, I love the sound of that.
Guys, I got to say, I just took a deep dive here to see what the latest number Chicago's at. And I just fell in a hole that I got to bring you guys into this hole with me.
Yes,
First
please.
off, it's Chicago 38.
38. Okay, so I was
Born for this
underestimating.
moment. It came out in
recently, right?
July 15th, 2022.
Yep.
And here's the story behind this.
March 11th, 2019.
January 6th, 2020.
Was it,
Guess
written in
Jake
DC,
Johnston.
yeah.
So get ready for this. Okay. According to Robert Lamb, the impetus for this album came from his collaboration with Jim Petterick of the Ides of March and Bruce Gage during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020-2021. So they kind of wrote an album about what they were experiencing during the pandemic. And this first single off this record was called If This Is Goodbye.
Ooh.
Oh,
So
boy.
were they just like imagining like where all the horn section like just like COVID's gonna kill us. It's good. Yeah. We gotta
we can't stop at 37.
Yeah.
Like we have to keep this going.
If This Is Goodbye was the single.
Wow. So this was Chicago's COVID album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicago's COVID album also had the songs Firecracker,
Okay.
Born for This Moment, Make a Man Out of Me,
Ooh.
Ew.
The Mermaid, She's Right, and no other fun.
Wow, Chicago listens to women.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping She's Right is about.
Yeah.
Their support of Me Too movement and listening to women. But,
Yes.
I'm
the other
worried.
tracks.
I'm worried about Chicago Transit Authority, if I'm going to be honest.
Anyone that age might start to Clapton out a little bit, right? And you just never know.
We're all wary of people Clapton it out. It's
so
just
many
like
of
it
them are
comes
Claptoning
for
out.
seemingly all of us at this point,
Yeah.
which I'm scared of.
Yeah, I worry about that too. Like at what point do you transition into that kind of attitude?
I might be less worried about senility
60?
and more worried about Claptoning out. Like, just like...
Brian, remember when we did that not live, but we listened through Danny Elfman's Big Mess, Danny's COVID album.
I fucking hated that album.
That was
You
a
didn't
rough
like
day.
it.
I did not like it at all. It did
It creeped me out. like the happy really creeped me out when I was listening to it. But
yeah, it's we did a thing for the Patreon where we listened to it in real time and kind of did a commentary, and at the fifth track, it was like, maybe we're just gonna kind of pick and choose here.
Is this like the record that he put out when he was doing Coachella and stuff?
Yes,
or okay.
like right around that
before that. Yeah, right before he did Coachella.
When he's like, surprise, I'm covered in crazy tattoos.
Yeah, and jacked.
Yeah,
oh my God.
And jacked.
My review of this album was, hey Bridget, guess what?
Yes.
Because it's him.
He didn't see her for 2 months.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Even she was like, "Where did you get these tattoos?"
Yes. Yeah. So the lyrics are the most on the nose anti-Trump stuff imaginable. One of those things where it's like, I agree with your point, but this just feels inelegant and ham-fisted.
At any point does he go like, the Cheeto?
It's honestly not.
That's what it feels like.
There are lyrics which are like jackboots marching in the street, very Nazi imagery kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought the music, I'm a big Elfman fan. Some of this stuff is incredible, but this was bargain tier Trent Reznor knockoff shit.
Yeah. Like the electronic. Normally, synths love them, but I did not like any of the electronic stuff. And then there are hints of actual instruments, and those are the most interesting part. But they're so fleeting.
So you guys didn't like track 5, Kofifi? You weren't a really big fan of that?
Yeah,
Kofifi, Kofifi.
He always walks the line of goofy.
Yes.
And
that's the thing is, it wasn't goofy enough. He took himself very seriously, obviously.
Yeah.
Isn't one of them called Love in the Time of COVID? No, I'm not making that up. One of them's called Love in the Time of COVID.
Love in the Time of COVID. Oh,
little on the nose.
Love all the art we made in COVID. I mean, Hawk came out of COVID, so I do love it. But it's weird to listen to. It's really weird for years into COVID and hearing all the things that mention COVID in media now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When at the beginning, nothing said anything about it, but now it's everybody has something
they mentioned
that mentions
it
COVID.
in one episode of Curb and then gave up on it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And there's, because there's also not a way to, anytime, especially a fucking stand-up will even, start, I'm just like, no, let's not go
You guys
there.
hear about this COVID thing?
I was like, oh, no, which way will it go? And am I going to feel icky?
My grandma's on a ventilator.
Yeah. Constantly I'm totally fine not agreeing with your politics, but your art is okay. And also don't really push my boundaries of that belief system.
100%. I want every performance I do to be described as weirdly anti-woke. That's my goal.
Not making enough money to be this anti-woke is the full quote.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's not in the right tax bracket for these kind of politics.
Yeah, grifting incorrectly.
Yeah, you have to be making a lot more money to be talking about how people are taking away your money. You know what I'm saying?
Did you watch Unfrosted? Speaking of unwoke comedy?
You know what? No. I didn't, and I'm not going to. Did you?
I got 20 minutes in, and then we were like, "Yeah, I can't do this."
Is it as bad? It's as bad as everybody.
Yeah, it's not good. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I am gonna say it's not good.
I say this as someone who watches a lot of crap. I mean, I was sitting there, I don't even do the Candid Kid anymore, and I was watching a Candid movie I haven't seen last night.
Was it one you got? Oh, it was one you had never seen?
I had never seen The Ambassador, which is the second 52 pickup translation that Candid did versus 52 pickup. But I often talk about it with my friend John Murray, where it's just I don't know if I have enough time on the clock to waste my time on that. And I have a lot of that. I'll just be I'll start something, just be what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I only have, and especially with a kid, I really only have as soon as he's asleep till I fall asleep on the couch. So
right.
Yeah.
And I have 4 movies going all at once. But
I 4 do different this screens. More with Criterion stuff where I'll get 20 minutes into it and then be like, fuck it. Okay, I'm not feeling this one feels like work. Yeah. Fuck
Yeah,
this.
that's exactly what I was about to say, and it doesn't even have to be this feels like work. Just like this is too good for the attention span that I presently have. Like I went on a big Michael Mann spree because obviously with a broken ankle I've got to watch a bunch of movies, and I had some glaring gaps in my filmography there. But I made the mistake. Like I watched through all of Miami Vice, which I felt generous towards, but I was just not in the right headspace to appreciate it. And then I started watching Thief, and I was like, "This is too good." I'm so fried right now that I genuinely like cannot engage with how fucking cool James Caan is. All the time.
There are certain ones like Thief where it's just like, like I know how much I honor this, and I'm not honoring it half falling asleep. Even if I've watched it a billion times.
Man with Miami Vice in broad daylight while other stuff was going on. I shouldn't have done that.
Yes,
but I did watch Heat for the first time finally, which. Incredible.
What a movie.
Did anyone read the book?
Yes, I did.
And?
It's fun. I think it's fun. It does like flash forwards and flashbacks. Like, it's a lot more interestingly structured than I thought it would be. And
did they do an audiobook for it? And did people do character voices?
That I don't know of.
That's a missed opportunity.
I picture just Michael Mann doing it. Just like in a thick Chicago
accent. Did he do the
accent.
character voices?
Yeah, I wish. He did Wayne Grow and all of it. And then he hummed the Moby song at the end. God Moves Over Water. Like,
oh, I thought it was the Gwen Stefani song that he did. Do you remember that
That's
Moby
the
song?
ultimate director's cut, is that you get a Gwen Stefani song and a Michael Mann
what's it
movie
called? Like South Side? Do you remember that song? Here we are now going to the North Side.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Layton, did you end up seeing The Keep?
Well,
I have not watched The Keep yet. It's another one where, like, after starting Thief and I've switched to, like, watching straight trash with maybe one or two exceptions. Like, I just watched a bunch of shit.
The Keep's right in the middle. Like, it's both, like, you can tell it was just a mess of a movie.
Yeah,
but I'm
a man apologist, so I think I will find things to enjoy in it.
It's got Tangerine Dream soundtrack.
I know. So that's what pulled me into it.
And it's amazing when that works. But like
I rewatched Collateral recently, which is
me too.
Really?
I like Collateral.
Yeah.
I would say one of the only movies that uses like, because I also like when I was in film school, I had like a friend who was like focusing on video and was very much like video's the future. Like, we're going to do movies with video. And I was always like, it definitely looks like video. Like, it's like it's not yet. Like, we're not there yet. But I do feel like Collateral is one of the few movies I was like, oh, they use that to its advantage. Like, it just has, like, the grain of it actually does translate into being a pretty good movie.
It's really well paced. Like, it's interesting. Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise are both awesome in it. Like,
I
really
buy
great.
Tom Cruise as a creep more than a relatable
100%.
I buy Tom Cruise with gray hair. He looks fucking awesome in that.
It's a good look.
Movie,
He's got to stop dyeing his hair. Like, honestly, like that last Mission Impossible is a little bit like, okay, what are we doing here?
Too dark.
I kind of worry.
You can tell when
now.
It's just like, nah, you didn't get the Just for Men just right.
Right. Yes.
Watching this latest Mission Impossible, I found myself like worried for Tom Cruise.
He seems like he's
you're a little
to
slower.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be doing these jumps anymore.
The COVID delay is bad for his age because they had to spread out the production, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, this is later. In the
next
episode,
movie,
it's a TV show at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but like he's gonna have to. He's like, I'm gonna hold my breath to get down to the submarine.
Oh my god!
And they're like, Tom, this is gonna kill you. You're not gonna. This is gonna be the one that kills you.
I decided to learn how to hold my breath longer than any human being that has ever existed.
There was that little kind of 10-minute like mini documentary about how they did the motorcycle jump. Did you guys watch this?
No, I didn't. I need to.
It's amazing because I guess like many stunts probably. Just watching the movie, it never would have occurred to me how cool and awesome the stunt he does where he jumps the motorcycle off the cliff and then goes into a parachute and then, eventually in the movie lands and sweeps into the train, right?
And then the motorcycle just goes right into a little house in the village.
Yeah, that's right.
Down below.
Yeah.
mother cooking, like motorcycle falls right next to her.
Children, come in.
Free motorcycle.
Free motorcycle.
But that little documentary is fucking cool and really makes you much more impressed with what they pulled off.
I mean, I think that one freaked him out, right? Like, if I remember hearing about it, like that was one that really freaked him out. He had to get to a certain speed to do it for real or something, or did they talk about that in the documentary?
I don't remember that part. I just remember, them finding the cliff and like figuring out the camera position and blah, 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 and then doing it, 10 times to go from a motorcycle into like a base jump or whatever you call it.
I do worry that none of us will be happy unless he does die doing a Mission Impossible movie.
I will not be happy.
Those exist like basically to prove to you how crazy he is. Like,
yes.
Like the one where he jumps out of the plane, the thing where he breaks his leg running across the building, which is the nightmare watching that happen on film. You're like, like when you watch it in slow motion.
And then the Foley artist just really went for the breaking sound.
Yes.
Like broke some spaghetti noodles.
And then a watermelon, and you're like, Gallagher too, what are you doing?
Shall we move on to some segments, perhaps? I think
it's your
so.
podcast.
I mean, you don't want to. You're talking about
you
Mission
guys do
Impossible.
whatever you want to do.
Fuck you want.
Yeah.
I had 20 more minutes on Dead Reckoning Part 2. So.
My kid is obsessed with those movies. Actually, she really loves. I took her to see Dead Reckoning Part 1 in the theaters, and she could not get enough. It was like 2.5 hours. She was just sold.
Yeah,
the entire
they're great
time.
movies. Except for what 3? 3 isn't good, right?
3
or
is
two?
Bad.
Yeah.
3 is very bad.
3 is John
3,
Woo,
yes.
and it's got the rock
Philip
climbing
Seymour
and
Hoffman, right? Isn't that 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
Wait, is it 3 then? And then he does the rock climbing.
Yes.
Yeah, but he does the inverted cross.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
not
bad.
great.
Which is what you do every time you do rock climbing, right, Geoff?
Yes, every time I do rock climbing, I go straight into an inverted cross.
Yeah, you got it.
With my cutoff
Do you
shirt.
Do you
Sunken
think when
into
that
my
movie
body.
came out, like all of these rock climbing gyms had a lot of people doing the inverted cross, and they're like, God damn it again.
I would imagine. I do love watching any of those like GQ, like a real like person does this, and they do have like an Alex Honnold who did free solo, like watching all these famous rock climbing parts. And I think he actually was like, oh, he is actually climbing here. But then he's like, but that's sandstone, and that wouldn't do this and this. And I was like, oh, I appreciate this because I'm going sandstone climbing this Saturday. So thank you.
Well, our first segment on the show is and I typically don't like to belabor this introduction, so I'm going to get right into it. It is our pop culture recommendation segment. This is where you get to talk about something you've been enjoying recently. Could be a book, a movie, a video game, a podcast. We say pop culture. It could be a scientific paper, culture both high and low. You're more than welcome to include anything you want. The name of this segment is What's Poppin'. And because of technical limitations on our end, we are unable to play the theme song, but we do add it in post. And the theme song for What's Poppin' goes here.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'? Great.
What's poppin'?
Well, let's keep this going because
poppin' now.
arguably better than the one we have.
I don't know about arguably.
Just is.
So I'm going to ask you now, Geoff. You may or may not remember it. Might have been a while, but I'll start with Jason. I'm going to ask you the question that I do like to ask all of our guests, which is: you did not just hear the "What's Poppin'" theme song, but if you were to have heard it, what would you have thought about it?
It's really good.
Thank you. Yeah,
I mean,
it's correct.
What did you do that? Did you do that at Sound City?
Yeah, that's where we did it. Partly at Sound City, partly at Sunset Sound.
Oh,
we just wanted to, really spread it out between the notable studios.
Power Station for the mixing.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. That's right. Yeah. Electric Ladyland just for some post stuff. We did all of it. So thank you. Good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good.
Great. Geoff, any thoughts?
You had Dave Grohl on that, right?
Yeah, although
I could tell.
legally for union reasons, I can't credit him.
Right.
But
Dave Dole. Yeah. He's
Grave
real
Dole.
good.
Dave Dole on drums.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that guy will show up for about anything, but I think this is the best thing he showed up on. I mean, I'll tell you that right now.
He's a team player. What can I say?
Big time.
Well, Leighton, do you want to start here? What's poppin'?
Sure, I will. I'm gonna what's poppin', something big and obvious that I shouldn't have to pop, but I'm popping it. because if you haven't watched it in a while, give it a rewatch. I was just gaming the other night and I wanted something on in the background, and so I put on Silence of the Lambs. It sucks you in. That is not a movie you put on in the background. The whole time I was just like, this is a perfect movie. This is a 10 out of 10. This holds up. I hadn't seen it in a while, and it's just fucking incredible. Everything about it is great. So if it's been a while since you last saw Silence of the Lambs, you should watch it.
I always thought that scene where Buffalo Bill is kidnapping that girl as American Girl Plays by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers should have been the music video for American Girl.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
It was right there.
Yep.
I remember watching Monk for the first time and being like, wait, really?
Yeah.
Same guy? Yeah.
Seeing Jamie Gumb in any other role is disconcerting. 100%.
Heat also, he's one of the cops in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Silence of the Lambs is what's popping for me. And I guess as an addendum, if you like Silence of the Lambs but haven't seen Manhunter, please watch Manhunter. It's so good.
What was the parody films? Was that Silence of the Hams? Was that the
Dom DeLuise?
It was. Who? I just remember the video box for it.
It also feels like it could have been Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, and Silence of the Hams.
It also could have been Dorf. It could have been a Dorf.
Oh, definitely it's a Dorf.
Yeah.
Dorf on Golf and Silence of the Hams.
Am I making this up that there was a thing called Silence of the Hams?
I can picture.
I'm
say
not
this.
making it up. It's real.
You're not. I know exactly what you're talking
But
about.
I'm actually picturing F. Murray
Dom
Abraham.
DeLuise was in it.
Thank
Dom
you.
DeLuise was in it.
Yep.
And Billy Zane.
And Billy Zane.
And Billy
Look at
Zane.
this.
Wow.
I mentally was picturing F. Murray Abraham in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Yes.
When they have a little quick Chianti joke, of course. Well played. One of the best lectors, F. Murray
Cast.
Abraham.
Martin Balsam as Detective Martin Balsam.
John Carpenter as Trenchcoat Man.
Excuse me, baking powder. Beep, 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 back up. Oh, now I have to watch it now? Damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Tony Cox, Shelley Winters, Bubba Smith, Larry
Mel
Storch.
Brooks.
This is a I
Eddie
have only
Deason. You got to get Eddie Deason in there. Yeah.
Rip Taylor.
Oh, I mean, I might end up watching this with that cast. It's annoying. I feel like this ends up being my mortality minutes where I'm like, I have these moments of like, should I watch all of the other spoof movies?
Yeah.
Like Wrongfully Accused and like,
Repossessed.
Repossessed, exactly. I definitely watched that a lot in junior high.
Oh, so did I. Yes.
Repossessed. But don't remember any jokes from it. Versus National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1 seems to be sitting in my
I'll tell
brain
you
all the
what
time.
I remember from Repossessed is is he in a classroom or a church or something like that? I can't remember. And there's like a woman there wearing a skimpy outfit. And it's showing like, I don't know, too much of her stomach or something like that. And he's like, young lady, pull that thing down. And she pulls down her tube top and her tits fall out. That is the joke I remember from Repossessed.
That's the quote-unquote joke.
God, I had forgotten all about Repossessed. And now I'm looking at the poster and I'm just shot back to the 90s.
Repossessed.
Yeah.
It's hard because in my heart, again, it goes to the What's That From world. I'm just like, there's probably at least one joke in there that will really work. Like I've said it before on other podcasts, but in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, Samuel L. Jackson offers coffee to the guy that his wife is cheating on him with. And he goes, would you like a cup of coffee? And she goes, honey, he's from a broken home. And he goes, oh, so no coffee then. Which I was like, kind of a weirdly perfect, absurdist joke in the middle of this not great movie. Has like 10 jokes that are okay.
Did we completely co-opt your pop, Layden?
No, I mean, but I'm fine with it.
It's the danger.
Great.
Wow.
So what's poppin'? Someone else.
Oh, sorry. Silence of the Hams, produced by Silvio Berlusconi. Okay, moving.
Perfect.
Jason or Geoff, you got anything you want to pop for us?
Oh, I got a popper. You got a popper?
Pop
Jason?
it.
I mean, my number one, what's popping right now, gotta be The Beekeeper. I mean,
you love The Beekeeper, man.
Oh my! I've watched it twice in 1 week. Like I watched it on the plane coming home from tour, and then like 2 days ago, I was like, I gotta watch The Beekeeper again.
I can't wait to watch it.
It's one of those where like I almost don't want to tell people like, yeah, I love it so much, because they'll watch it and be like, it was fine at best, but it's like there's something about it that I was like, we almost did an extra episode of the Canon, even though it's a podcast we shut down, because I do think it's the most canon-y film I've seen in a long time, because it's like, it doesn't really feel ironic, but it's nonstop weird B puns. It's nonstop violence in a crazy way. The logic makes no sense. It's kind of a John Wicky like sort of world, but they don't ever explain things well, and the politics are confusing. Like you're like I'm rooting for Jason Statham, but he does work for maybe a government agency, like, so we're funding this fucked up shit he's doing. And they have a bad guy that we all can stand behind, where it's like old people getting ripped off. It's also is a movie for the AARP crowd, as it was said on How Did This Get Made. Like it is like,
I heard that.
Well, AARP Studios was the studio.
When you see it, you'll be like, I think they did fund it. And like, and it's also gotten to me because like I've had to do a lot of like banking stuff this week, and like every time I'm like, am I getting scammed? Are they going to steal all my money?
Did I just do a reverse mortgage?
Exactly. Like, and that's what, but it's just a wild movie, and I enjoy it from the beginning to the end. And when it was done, I kind of wanted to start it over again. And that, as a person who watches a billion movies, I also don't do that often. I was just like, I just want to keep watching Beekeeper.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to keep watching him break shotguns in half and stick them through people's necks, and then he always drops he'll take a gun apart and then drop it as he's walking with a big open hand, and it always looks cool. And then make a bee pun. Beekeeper, gotta watch it.
Great.
Beekeeper 2 is not confirmed, Geoff. I just looked that up. But
and the beauty is, it's one of the things I share with my mother-in-law, is that she really likes, like, she's a woman who I love her, but asked me if Bohemian Rhapsody was based on a real band, because she's never heard of like Queen, but she loves Arnie and Sly. And I was like, you got to watch this. And then she's like, he might be my new Arnie. I love this movie. I was like, I know. Wow. She's like, is there a sequel coming? I was like, I'll let you know. Yeah.
And we'll go see it together.
Yes.
Yeah. Jason, you got anything for us?
I am going to recommend a book, ladies and gentlemen. It's called A Really Strange and Wonderful Time, The Chapel Hill Music Scene, 1989 through 1999.
Amazing.
Written by Tom Maxwell from the Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Welcome to hell.
It goes year by year, and it's a scene that I was around. Like, I probably started going to Chapel Hill to see shows or play shows in like 95, 96. And I saw so many Ben Folds 5 shows.
I was going to say,
back
that's
in the
like
day,
that's the heyday, right?
Yeah,
like there,
Super Chunk, Polvo, so many Spatula, so many amazing bands. And, you know, it talks about Ben Folds 5 and Squirrel Nut Zippers exploding, and the Cat's Cradle, which is just a legendary rock club.
I just played there.
Yep. You just played the Cradle.
Yeah, I just played the Cradle.
Oh my God. I saw so many shows at the Cradle.
Yep.
And it's just it's a nice little time capsule of a time in rock and roll in a scene that wasn't Seattle in the 90s. And, you know, see what all of these other, Wilmington gets brought up a lot. A lot of the bands would live in Wilmington and then go back to Chapel Hill and that sort of thing. And for just a picture of what rock was like in the South in the 90s. It's a really cool read.
Sounds great.
That's great.
Ryan.
Yes.
What's poppin'?
I am also going to, Leighton, I'm going to take a page from your book and pop a classic. So what's popping for me this week is the 1984 album Diamond Life by Sade.
Oh,
and this album
there you go.
Fucking rules. It's so great. And it is exactly the kind of thing that we were kind of talking about this when I was on the Hawk. I dismissed it when I was younger as being like too cheesy and like whatever. And now when I listen to it as a mature, smooth jazz fan, I fucking love it. The production is so dialed in and perfect. It's just incredible. Amazing sax work, and Sade is just an all-timer. And this was her first album too. It's just
that's insane.
Start to finish. It's fantastic, and it's straight up fuck music, like cover to cover.
That was the original title.
Yeah, fuck music.
That's
right.
on the sticker.
Straight
They
up
had to
music.
replace the
Music.
title.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Parental
that's the review
advisory.
from
music.
Billboard sticker
Yeah, this is
on
gonna
the
make
CD.
you fuck.
It was an appetite for destruction situation. You get that original
Straight up.
copy, that's worth so much money.
Straight up fuck music. Kurt Loder.
Yeah, this is MTV News. I love this album. It's so great, and it's the one. If you don't know the album, Smooth Operator is off of, and I find
That's
Smooth
the
Operator,
opening track.
That's the opening track. It like Smooth Operator is an interesting song because to me it doesn't really hit until that first chorus, and then it just grabs you, and it's amazing throughout. And then retroactively listening to it a second time, you're already in because you know how great that chorus is going to be. I love these albums.
Here's the thing about Sade. No bad records.
No, 100% true. They're
No
all
bad
good.
records. They're all good, and it's also the same people that have
That's
been
right.
playing together for the longest since like '82.
Yeah, that's right.
I need to go on a dive because Sade was something my dad listened to, and so I think I dismissed it. And then honestly, seeing enough people make bootleg Sade shirts in the bootleg Instagram shirt world, I was just like, wait, I think this might actually be in the exact Venn diagram of music I listen to anyways.
Yeah.
So what am I doing?
I'm like 99% sure you would love it.
Yeah.
If you went back because it is real. It is like undeniably good. So
And I wore out Lovers Rock in
Lovers
2000.
Rock is also great.
So good.
Yeah.
So
And
good.
16 years after Diamond Life. I mean, that's a long gap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So put on Sade with Sounds of the Lambs in the background.
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds of the Hams.
Sounds of the Hams on a second screen.
Yeah.
And then the Chapel Hill audiobook while Jason Statham's just talking to me, like, is
That's
my
great.
ideal.
Also, another Sounds of the Hams thing. The incredible Stuart Pankin is in it. One of,
From
one of the old-timers.
Not necessarily the news.
Yes.
Cute.
That's the
Oh
one.
my God. Yes.
That's how I think of him. I believe what is the Not Necessarily the News sketch that always gets to the ex-Terminator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I
remember.
made a reference to Not Necessarily the News in a Art Spart like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think you did.
Because I read that oral history of 90s sketch comedy, so it's had it on my brain.
Well, speaking of Snicklets, of course,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, Leighton, we now move on to our other segment, which you are the boss of.
Yeah, in which I'm incredibly good at introducing. Our final segment is 3 parts gratitude exercise and 1 part petty grousing. And Brian, are we going to do 1 peach each?
Let's do 1 peach each. Yes.
Okay, it's normally 3 parts, but now it's a 1-to-1 mixture. 1 thing that's cool and good and fun, and 1 thing that sucks. This is the segment's called Peaches and Lemons / 1 peach each plus a lemon. God, this is elegant. I am crushing it as usual. 220 something episodes in. Let's fucking go. This is the theme song.
1 peach each. 1 peach, 1 peach each. 1 peach, 1 peach each. 1 peach, 1 peach each.
Wow, the theme
Peaches and a
song.
lemon. Peaches and a lemon.
My favorite Alabama
Get some
song.
banjo behind that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we gotta see Alabama and Myrtle Beach.
You've single-handedly improved all the theme songs on this show, so thank you.
Yeah, it's
Thank
true.
you.
So we're each going to start with a lemon, which is a thing that is a minor bummer or annoyance. So if anybody would like to go.
Yeah, I can start. So for about, 6 years now, we have had a basketball hoop in our backyard here because my kid was interested in it. And like everything a kid is interested in, it was popular for about 3 seconds and then sat unused for 6 years. And after turning into a rusted mass of spiders, eventually we were like, let's get rid of this thing. So I set the bulky item pickup, knowing that I would probably have to disassemble it. And had I known 6 years ago that when you fill the base with sand, it turns it into a fucking nightmare to empty that thing. And they won't pick it up unless you empty it. So I spent 45 minutes to an hour yesterday trying to empty this fucking base to a basketball hoop, like the thing it stands in, empty it of sand in my backyard on concrete, and it was a nightmare. At first I was like, how the fuck am I going to get this out? Then I watched a YouTube tutorial. Can you guess how I removed the sand from this thing? It was actually kind of a genius move, and the guy who suggested it is smart.
You took it to the ocean and convinced it to go back to the land.
Fly free.
Yeah.
You're home.
No, you're not far off. I took a hose with
I was gonna guess hose.
And aimed it into that thing, and just basically irrigated the shit out of this as water and sand and spiders came out of it for 45 minutes, and it was just this mass of like beige colored shit water pouring out of this thing onto my driveway. Delicious. For 45 minutes. It was, you know what, Jason, you're totally right. It was a true taste sensation. Couldn't be happier with how that came out. But what a monumental pain in the ass.
Oh my God.
To get rid of this thing. It is gone. Unlike many bulky item pickups I've had before, they actually came and got the fucker, which is
nice.
I'm not going to say unusual, but not without precedent for them to just not show up.
See, I appreciate that happened, because in where I live, people love leaving bulky items around and never making that call, and nobody ever picks them up. And I could just foresee a future in which somebody leaves that on the corner and it lives there forever now.
Oh,
people start playing basketball.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes, the
it's
most
the one thing I miss
soothing
about New
sound
York.
is basketballs bouncing.
Yeah, off your balcony. Yeah.
The one thing I miss about New York is putting anything on the street and having it disappear in 2 minutes.
100%.
Yeah.
It was like almost a fun game at a certain point. See, like, how quick will this couch disappear?
Dude, we tried to get rid of a couch on bulky item pickup it was 3 weeks, and they kept not showing up.
Ugh.
And I was like, if I were still in New York and I just put this downstairs, it would be gone. 5 minutes. Turn my back, walk outside, thing is gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my lemon. Who else has one?
Good lemon.
I'll go. My lemon is that on week whatever of my injury, everything is so hard and exhausting, and I am so exhausted. Like, I'm baseline, even non-injured, just tired all the time, and I've been, keeping to a good sleep schedule. I'm just exhausted. I have so much shit to do, and even getting around to do something like, I don't know, microwave food and then carry it to table to eat the food and then put that away and wash stuff. I'm so just completely burned out right now. So hooray, don't go on roofs without ladders.
That'll take it out of you, man. That'll really take it out of you. Just any normal function, even breathing, will take it out of you.
Yep. I had to climb up on my roof to do a maintenance thing recently, and as I was up there, I screamed down to my wife, Rachel, take a picture of me on this roof so we can text it to Leighton with the caption, "This is how it's done."
Yeah. And you did.
And we did. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a real a serious man poster recreation.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Lemon for me, we've been having a lot of random explosions in Burbank. And nobody knows where they are or what they are. It's if you go to the Burbank Reddit or on Next Door, everyone's like, what was that explosion? It happens every night, probably around 10:30. And it's huge. It is a huge explosion. And we don't know where it's coming from.
Who's been at Flappers?
I have no idea. I mean, it's got to be Leno.
Yeah, that's it.
I gotta see. Look at the explosion's gonna go off, and I'm gonna get in my Model T and drive off. No, I have no idea what it is. It is earth shaking, and it happens every night, and nobody knows what it is, and everybody's trying to figure it out. If you know what it is and you're listening, let me know, please.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great, Geoff.
My lemon is dealing with setting up bank financial stuff and just not understanding ever what's going on. Like, it's just
that's a good lemon.
And spending, the past couple of days, like, I just, I've been trying to pay all these bills from something I just did, and it involved like setting up a PayPal and then setting up an account for it, and like one thing got off and it led to hours on the phone of trying to get my bank connected. And then even when it finally did after days, it was like they put a flag on me because they were like, why are you making all these transactions? It's like, because I've been waiting for days. So now it's like, well, you got to wait for an e-check now for this thing. And I'm like, okay, I guess. And then trying to be like, oh, I'd like to ACH someone some money. Oh, you can't do that because there's no particular reason why. And I'm sitting on the chat bot being like, can you explain why? Like, just please tell me. And they're not giving me an answer. And then you're paying a wire fee. And then you're dealing with Zelle, but Zelle has a limit of how much you can send. And you immediately are done with, and you have to wait 30 days. But it's not like people who need money can wait 30 days.
Well, so not only is it completely mystifying, it also feels like you're going to get some crazy fine for fucking it up. Like your taxes are gonna be like 300% larger next year.
Yes.
You clicked the wrong box about withholding or whatever the fuck it is.
It's a nonstop worry about taxes and how this will all play out. And it's just like, yes, it's and you focus on the present, which is just talking to someone who's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that's happening. And I'm just like, hey, that's cool. Like
IRS is going to be like, you click the box, that's automatic jail time, man. I'm sorry.
It does feel like it's like I'm a child. It's like I'm a child who's worried I'm going to click the automatics audit fine.
100%. Like, that's why. I mean, I know, Leighton, you like to talk about defunding the IRS and the post office.
Can we get a pull quote on that? I just my hearing again. I have bad hearing.
We need to hear you say it.
Right. I love tax evasion and doing it. So
there we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, move in, boys.
Cut, print.
Great. That stuff is so maddening, and there's nothing that makes me feel quite as dumb as filling out a financial form online, because I'm like, I don't think of myself as a stupid person.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen all these words before, and every single time I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it, too, is you do it once and then they change the policy. Once you finally figure out what it is, it's like, oh, yeah, that was last year. It's not like this year.
Yeah.
It's getting old. It's growing up. Bruce Springsteen sang about it, guys.
Yes.
Blink-182 sang about it, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I guess this
they
is
did
growing
it first,
up was about.
And then Springsteen
was like, oh, I guess I'm getting old, too.
Old?
Hooray for Banks.
We have done lemons. Now it's time for us to do one peach each. I will go first. My one peach is that due to the injury and the fact that I can't go anywhere, and also having a bunch of wonderful friends, I've been having people visit me and hang out. And I, for years, have not let people come inside my home out of a mixture of various neuroses. And so having people here has been really wonderful. That's my peach.
That's nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Someone else?
My peach is I just got back from tour. Like I'm still just excited about it. I haven't been, it was a tour of my band from 20 years ago, and it was wildly exciting. And I feel like I'm still just I still got the juice from the peach running down my chin every day.
Like, juice is loose.
Juice is loose. Trademark. Can we get a pull quote of you saying the juice is loose, Jason?
That's great, dude.
Yeah. It's so fun. Being on tour is so fucking fun.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this with friends. It's like it's not only fun in and of itself, also briefly you're kind of single and not a parent, which for a short period of time is really great, knowing that you have a family to go back to.
Yes.
My deal with Rachel, which Leighton, is I have my wedding ring and I swallow it, and I'm single effectively until it comes out.
Yes.
And that is my touring policy.
So
as long as it
back.
gets hung on something
that's right.
down there.
Yeah. You got to eat a lot of cheese and stuff.
Yeah. They got to cut you open to get it out.
Yep, that's right.
Until that colonoscopy.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm still single.
Yeah. Swallow extra hard.
I'm going to the rainbow tonight.
I think my peach is I'm just very happy with the current run of Hawk episodes we've been doing. We've had a lot of great guests like you, Brian.
Yep, thank you.
And Leighton, we'll have to get you on if you want to come on the Hawk.
Oh.
It would be a lot of fun to have you on.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's been a really good time, and it's a podcast we've been doing for almost 4 years now. So which is shocking to say out loud.
Wait, what? Was going to be like a year and a half.
In 2020, and then we started doing it regularly in 2021. But I'm still finding things that are new and fun with it, and that happens every week, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, your show, I mean, as I told you when I was on it, but I'll say it again so everybody can hear it. You're fucking awesome. I love what you guys do. It's really funny. It's just fun to hear you guys, go forward and make each other laugh and everything. And I love the classic rock kind of angle too. So it's really great. I'm such a fan of it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I guess I have my peach left. Which one to do? I'm just gonna say my kid turned 10 a couple of days ago, and 10 is a really fun age. She's a great kid, and she's very funny. She is a little bit machine. I have raised somebody in my own image, which is impossible. She never takes anything seriously. She's constantly trying to do little one-up bits. It's extremely annoying, and yet I have nobody to blame but myself. I know I told you this, Leighton. A couple months ago, we were playing Uno, and she was trash-talking me and called me, and this is a quote, a sloppy middle-aged dude. And
love it.
just to make people laugh. And my sister was visiting at the time, and it was one of the funniest things. She just comes out with these just things all the time that are so funny, and I feel like by my nonstop doing of bits, I'm creating some kind of comedy super soldier, which I can only hope is true.
Do you think there's any truth behind that, though? That she kind of does think you're a sloppy middle-aged guy?
Oh, I think there's 100% truth behind it. No. Look, only one
Dad,
word.
it's a joke. It's a joke, but
there's one word in that's even up for debate, right? And I'm sure also, I mean, I just want to say Audrey's room is not exactly a paragon of cleanliness and order, but sloppy. Honestly, what I really loved about it is she picked. Like, if she called me dumb, I'd be like, I know I'm not dumb. Or if she was like, you're ugly, I'd be like, okay, I don't think so, but whatever. Sloppy hurts just enough. It is like
my God.
Laser targeted. And I would be lying if I wasn't like, wait, do people think I'm sloppy?
Yeah, it's a smart move.
Is that how I come across?
It's another way of saying slob.
Yeah, she found the word. She found the thing that was like, it's in there.
She's the snob and you're the slob. It's a classic slobs versus snob situation.
My favorite Disney cartoon.
It's a real Caddyshack.
I have Brian, your child's birthday present next to me, and I'm showing it off. This is
folks, is so cool.
This is customizable, and I got a bunch of Zelda stickers, so you can put whatever you want in the pocket, and this is full of Zelda makeup brushes.
That's awesome.
And
she's gonna
makeup
love
stuff.
That rules.
What one of the many things I love about her is she is a consummate gamer and also a consummate gamer girl, and loves her girl gamer stuff. Like her Zelda makeup stuff is exactly the kind of shit she's into. And it's awesome. We went to the Ren Fair this weekend, and she got all dolled up in her fairy warrior princess gear. It was awesome.
Amazing.
So, love raising a little nerd.
She's the best.
She is the best, and fucking brutal too, which was great.
You sloppy mess.
Guys, thank you for being on here. This was so much fun to have you on. I'm such a fan of what you do together and individually.
Thank you.
Jason, we've seen each other at the Best Show a couple times now. Yes. Obviously, I'm a big fan of that. And I don't think when I played the holiday party, you weren't there for that one, right?
I stayed away from the holiday. Usually, if there's a big show with a lot of people, I tend to stay away. Just if COVID numbers are nuts, I tend to hide here in my hidey hole.
Yep. Totally makes sense. And there were a lot of people there for that too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people there like, holidays, all right. And I'm like, okay.
Jason does do volunteer work for the CDC, especially around the holidays.
That's right. Yeah.
I write all of their reports. Yeah. Where it's basically just shrugs. I draw a person shrugging. And that's what the CDC
luck,
releases.
Mask ?
Yeah.
But no, you guys are the best, and I'm just so thrilled you took the time to be on with us today.
Well, thank you for having us. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Where can people listen to The Hawk or find you on social media?
You can go to 1089thehawk.com. It's our radio station website. It's built just like a station website, but it's got all of our episodes there, all of our links, our link to our Patreon. And then you can follow 1089 The Hawk on TikTok, on Instagram, on X.
Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Blue Sky. We're on everything. We're back on Tumblr now because there was a report that came out this week about podcasts using Tumblr to really reach new people.
We are? This is news to me.
We're on Tumblr now, baby.
We are on
Layton's
Tumblr. Favorite words.
Brian, we have a new platform to be derelict in our posting duty on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Tumblr is back for podcasts.
What 49-year-old doesn't want to sign up for Tumblr?
Yeah, exactly. Yeesh.
So, yeah, that's where you can find us. I'm Mr. Jason Gore on everything. You can find me there. And, yeah.
I'm Geoff Garlock at Instagram. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I think I refuse to do TikTok. He wants me to, but, you know.
And you have a bunch of other podcasts and
there.
Too,
go listen to the Cannon. Go listen to What's That From? Go listen to Docs Till Death. Go listen to Worst Gig Ever. All the archives are still up there. And go to garlockbandcamp.com. I've got various horror movie soundtracks and a hardcore record I wrote in the pandemic and Orchid and Panthers. Go check out those records. Orchid's playing in Toronto this week or 2 weekends from now.
And Brian, your episode of The Hawk will be up in a week.
Yeah, look at this.
It's out on Friday, so it'll be a week from this Monday coming up. Your episode of The Hawk will be out. So
that's great.
108.8 The Flow is the name of the episode. So.
Perfect.
Should I tell people what I am before it comes out, or should we let people figure it out?
Let's let people figure it out. Well,
you're going to have to listen, people.
You're going to have to just listen.
Yeah, I think based on that, listeners of this podcast can probably guess what the fuck is going on with that. But,
yeah, it's a smooth jazz station, guys. There you go.
Hell yeah, it is.
You figured it out.
So
cool.
Wow.
All right, Layton, take us home.
Layton
always, now just to set this up, guys, at the end of every episode, Layton busts out with some, trenchant little insight that really kind of sums up the episode perfectly, but also extends the conversation so that the viewers or listeners at home, depending on which, can kind of keep it going on their own. So Layton, hit us.
Listeners, if you ever think that you should go on a roof, don't.
Perfect. All right.
That's
Bye,
it.
folks.
Goodbye. Bye. My dog says goodbye also.
Late Night is produced by Brian Wecht and Leighton Gray. Sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/LaytonNight. Follow us on Twitter at LaytonNight, on Instagram at Layton_night, or email us at LaytonNight@gmail.com.